Do you think it's easier to get laid in this generation's time, or do you think the 80s were easier to get laid? With the rise of Tinder and the fuck apps, I'm sure it's easier now, but also with the rise of the Me Too and everyone's afraid to talk to chicks because of the fear of false accusations. Thank you for your consideration and hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you for your consideration after asking that question. Jesus. Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can go first.
Is it easier? Well, in my day, and I hate to say that, but the 80s are long past. Chris, I'm going to talk for Chris here for a minute.
Okay.
I was not a horn dog in the 80s. I didn't just bang anything that I'm going to use a Jay and Silent Bob, quote. I'm going to fuck everything that moves.
Yeah.
I was not one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
A little more selective. So I did not, engage in one night stands, just bang anything that I could get my hands on. That was just not my MO. If there was somebody that I liked or actually wanted to pursue, I would say that I was pretty successful with that. If it was just somebody that I actually liked, and it usually wound up to be something of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a one night stand guy. Never had a one night stand. That wasn't that thing with me. I cannot answer for today's culture with the whole apps and dating. I've never done that. I don't have an app. I've never tried it. I've never done the dating sites. I've never done any of that because I don't care about it. It's just not, I am more of an organic guy. If something happens, something happens.
Right.
So I do not, I've never signed up for a dating site or an app or a Tinder or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Never done that. So I can't answer that question. So as far as ease is concerned, I can't answer that as far as ease is concerned. I really don't know. I know of people back in the day when guys would just pretty much bang anything that were pretty successful at doing it. You ply them with some alcohol, you ply them with some drugs, you ply them with any kind of thing that would make it less inhibitive, and they would pretty much fall in line. I think Chris would more be he could answer that better because more or less he didn't care what it was. It was just like, I'll just bang anything that moves, like Jay.
Yeah. Definitely easier back then. Definitely 1,000% easier back then.
Why was it easier back then than today?
Because today is not it's not an expectation anymore. Back then, if you did, back then when men could be men and women could be women, and men treated women a certain way and women acted a certain way toward men, that was part of the damn deal. Was if you did something nice for them, they did something nice for you, and they understood what the nice for you was.
All right, so it was reciprocal.
Yeah, and it was take a girl to a show. She knew that she was going to fuck you. Take her to the football. I can't tell you how many times in high school go to the football game and get your dick sucked in the car in the parking lot at the school.
All right.
Because you took her to the football game and you spent the $3 on the ticket and bought her a fucking drink and a popcorn.
$3?
Oh, yeah, you were like $10 in by the time all was said and done. So
holy shit, $10 was a deal.
So she knew her job.
All right.
So you would drive on and even just hanging out. When we used to hang out, it was always, I would always steal a bottle. My dad had like I don't know what you call it. It was in a lower cabinet and it had like a carousel in it. I don't know what that's called, but that's where he kept all his booze. And a Lazy Susan. Well, I used to steal the booze off the Lazy Susan all the time because he was a corporate guy. So he got bottles all the time.
Okay.
So I would take that out. We would get out in the car on a Friday night, pick up whatever girl, go out to, there was a little lake that we used to go to, and it was sit in the car, drink, make out a little bit, fuck, swim again. That's what we did. You know, it was so much easier then. Now, for a lot of reasons, it's more difficult. I think it's probably easier on some regard, like in high school or whatever. It's probably easier, you know, as an adult. First of all, nobody wants to, because nobody wants to deal with the fucking backlash of it now. You know, we're all, maybe it's because we're older and it's not as important as it used to be back then, but you know, they're now, and again, it's hard to compare A to B, but now to get pussy, you literally run through the gamut. It's not all or nothing anymore. Now it's like, well, I could fuck her. Well, what's that going to mean to me tomorrow, next day, the next week? And am I going to get calls all the time? And am I getting texts all the time?
What's the long-term effect of this?
Yeah, it was, now it's the long game. Back then it was, dude, back then you would bang a chick and you had no idea what was coming the next day.
But there were no cell phones and there was no internet back then either.
No, but they all had your phone number.
Yeah.
Dude, that was always a thing. My mom and my brother used to make fun of me all the time because the phone would ring nonstop from different girls. And a lot of it was, you know, I mean, I was doing something with all of them, but, you know, as I've told you before, I used to sell pot to the chicks, and I would just give the girls pot if they'd, you know, blow me or fuck me or whatever. So a lot of the time it was, hey, can you meet me in an hour at the mall or at the plaza?
At the church parking lot.
It was always at Streetsboro Plaza.
Right.
I did most of my weed dealing. They had an asteroids machine and 2 pinball machines and a dig dug.
All right.
And the way that things were configured, there was a space in between the asteroids and the dig dug.
No Galaga?
No, not at this time.
Oh,
And I used to be like, you know, getting that space. I'd have the girl get in the space so that I could kind of get in there and not to do anything, but to pass the weed without being seen, you know, because all anybody could see if they came walking out was my back. So they'd be walking out, seeing my back, and I'd be handing them, you know, a couple of joints or a small baggie or whatever of pot. And then, you know, either we would go somewhere from there, you know, like that was before those apartments that are behind that plaza were there. So
Yeah.
a lot of times it'd be like, or we could meet up at the plaza and I'd be like, well, let's go talk about how much pot I'm going to give you in the woods. We go in the woods and then get a blowjob or fuck her on an old ratty couch or something that was thrown away in the woods. We didn't care. Didn't care a bit if they were throwing pussy. I did not give a shit if I got dirty. Cared.
See, I knew you would have the answer before me because that was not my MO.
Did not care even a little bit. I was always willing. Always. You know, didn't matter what they looked like. Didn't matter if they were trading it out for pot. I was taking it.